Earthlings, welcome back, and if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. My name is Catherine and this is my YouTube channel, Sharing Earth. If you haven't already, please make sure you press that red subscribe button right down below and also the little bell next to it. This way you'll always be notified every single time I upload a video, which is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So today's video is a highly requested video, and that is another yoga sequence, and these videos take a lot of time to make, so I don't make them as often as I'd like to, but hopefully you'll be seeing more yoga sequences. I'm gonna shoot for maybe like once a month or twice a month coming soon. So today is the new moon in Cancer, and Cancer is a water sign, and if you know anything about Western astrology, water signs are associated with deep depth of emotions. Think about water and the depth of water and just how you feel around water. So I wanted to do a yoga sequence that focused on releasing stored emotions. So one of my favorite things about a yoga practice, and probably one of the main things that I focus on in my yoga practice, is releasing emotions that are stored in my body, especially from past trauma in my life or just past things that I've repressed in my life, because that stuff gets stuck in our body and shows up in forms of knots, sticky fascia, and just general pain and uncomfortableness. And yoga is a really beautiful way to release these stored emotions by putting ourselves into certain poses and breathing into the places where we're feeling intense sensations and just sending all our breath there, and then the breath gives the opportunity for those intense sensations to begin to release, and then we release those stored emotions and we feel better physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. I want to also say that if there's anything that is hurting, like actual pain, get yourself out of the pose. Yoga should not hurt. At least asana should not hurt. You may feel uncomfortable, and that's okay, but if you're feeling any intense pulling, any intense pushing, or anything that makes you want to go, ah! Then make sure that you just get yourself out of that pose as slowly and safely as you can. It's okay if I can do something and you're not able to in this moment. There have been times in my life when I haven't been able to move into these positions, and it just takes practice, and it takes time, and it takes learning other poses that will support you in moving into these poses. So please keep that in mind in your practice, to always take care of your body regardless of what is going around you and who is doing what around you. Before this intro gets way too long, which it kind of already is, let's get started. So to begin, come lying onto your back all the way down, bringing the soles of your feet to the ground, and then let your arms come anywhere they'd like. I like to place my left hand on my heart and my right hand on my belly or my womb, and then bring the soles of your feet together, letting your knees spread out, just falling open. And you can play here with where your feet are in relation to your groin. So you can come out further, you can come closer, whatever feels good for you, whatever feels best for you. And if this pose is too intense, go ahead and put a block or a blanket under each one of your knees to support your knees here. So just keeping your hands on your heart and your belly, close the eyes down, relaxing, breathing, moving your breath from the depths of your belly up to the rib cage, up to your chest, lastly your throat, and then exhaling a little slower than your inhales. And we're gonna take 5 breaths here. Lengthening your breath with each inhale and each exhale. Noticing the sensation in your body. 2 more breaths. One more breath here. On the exhale, side out. Place your hands underneath your knees and using the strength of your arms, push your knees back together. And bring your right ankle to your left knee, flexing your right foot. So flexing your toes up to the ceiling or up to the sky. And you can stay right here and use your hand to push your right hand to push your right knee away from your body. And if you're wanting more sensation while still keeping that right foot very flexed, keeping your right foot flexed is going to protect your right knee. And it's important to protect your knees because our knees are sensitive and they're also expensive. So if you want more sensation, take your right hand, thread it through underneath your right leg and grab onto the back of your left thigh and place your left hand on top of your right hand. And pull your left leg close to your body while simultaneously pushing your right leg away from your body. If you are really bendy and still desiring more sensation, instead of grabbing onto the back of your left thigh, you can grab onto the front of your left shin. And still pulling that left leg close to your body with the strength of your arms and using the strength of your right leg to push your right knee away from your body. And still checking in that that right leg is flexed. Take 2 more breaths here. Releasing any constriction in the belly. Noticing the sensations that you may be feeling in your glute, you might be feeling in your hip. And on your exhale, slowly bring your left foot back to the ground, unwinding your right leg back to the ground. And bring your arms out to a T and drop your knees over to the left side of your body while looking over your right shoulder. Close the eyes down, take 2 breaths here. On the inhale, bring your knees back through to center and bring your left ankle to your right knee, flexing the left foot, keeping it flexed, protecting the left knee. And again, you can stay here and use your left hand to push the left knee away from your body. And again, if you want more sensation, taking your left hand, threading it underneath the left foot, grabbing onto the back of your right thigh and pulling the right leg close to you while simultaneously pushing the left knee away from you. Left foot is very, very flexed. And again, if you want even more sensation because you're super bendy and you just love the sensation, you can grab on to your right shin. You may notice one side is a little stickier than the other, and there's nothing wrong with this. This is very normal, very true for most people. And take 2 more breaths here. Breathing into any sensation you're feeling. If this is hurting your knees, go ahead and release this position. You do not want your knees to hurt. And on the exhale, slowly release the right foot back to the ground, releasing the left leg back to the ground, opening up your arms to a T, dropping your knees over to the right side of the body, and looking over your left shoulder for a sweet twist. If this twist is pulling a lot in your glutes or your IT band, you can place a block in between your knees for some extra support. And if you don't have a block, a folded up blanket will do the job just as well. Inhaling the legs back through to center. And now we're going to move into a happy baby pose. So bring your feet bring your knees as wide as your chest, even wider, and your legs up to the sky, your feet facing the sky. And using your hands, grab the outsides of your feet here. And you want to pull your knees in close to your chest. And taking a couple breaths here. Your toes are flexed towards your face. You can also rock side to side. Happy baby pose, feeling like a sweet little baby. Breathing into those hip sockets, feeling any tension in your groin, knowing this is normal, knowing that it's okay. Making sure your breaths are long and mindful. One more breath. And exhale, slowly bringing the soles of your feet together and then releasing your legs back down to the ground. Roll over onto your right side or your left side, whichever one you prefer, and using only the strength of your arms, push yourself up to a seated position. And then come onto your hands and your knees into tabletop. So what you want to make sure that you spread your fingers really wide here. Make sure that you're taking any pressure off your wrists. And if your wrists still hurt, you can go ahead and come up onto your fist with your thumbs released. You just want to make sure your hands are directly underneath your shoulders and your knees are directly underneath your hip bones. And we're going to go ahead and move through a few cat-cows. So you're going to cow, arch the back, open up the chest, look up to the sky on the inhale. And then cat, exhale, round out the back, bringing your gaze towards the belly button. And we're going to do 5 of these. Inhale, arch the back, exhale, round the back. Inhale, arching the back. Exhale, round the back. 3 more. We're just moving the energy in our spine here. After moving into those hips, you may be feeling some sensation. Maybe some things are feeling a little uncomfortable. We just want to move that energy through the spine. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, come back through to neutral. And begin walking your hands out in front of you, letting your lower back arch out a little bit while your heart melts to the ground, bringing your forehead to the ground. And then just let your heart melt, melt, melt to the ground. This is puppy pose or heart melting pose. If this is too much on your shoulders, you can go ahead and bring one of your hands to the top of your head. And if that's still too much, you can bring both hands to the top of your head. And this is going to release any intense pulling or just pain you may be feeling in your shoulders. We're going to go ahead and take 4 breaths here. On each exhale, letting your heart melt even closer to the ground. On your inhale, filling up the back body, the back of the heart. That space between the shoulder blades, exhale, releasing the heart to the ground. And on your next inhale, begin to walk your hands back underneath your shoulders, and then release your entire body down to the ground. Taking a breath here, bring your right arm out to the side with your hand parallel to your shoulder, and bring your left hand underneath your left shoulder, and then using the strength of your left hand, push yourself to roll over onto the right shoulder, opening up your chest to the left side of the body. Now you can stay here in this position, or if you want more sensation in your chest, you can bend your elbow and bring your elbow and your hand parallel to each other. And this is going to give you more sensation in opening up your chest. If you're feeling any pull in your left knee, go ahead and bend that knee and drop it down onto your right thigh. And we're going to take 3 breaths in this position. On your next inhale, slowly unwind the body, bringing the right hand back underneath the right shoulder. And then bring your left hand out to the side with your hand parallel with your left hand parallel with your left shoulder. And using the strength of your right hand, which is placed directly underneath your right shoulder, roll over onto your left side, opening up to the right side, your chest to the right side of the room. Again, if you're desiring more sensation, you can bend the elbow where your hand and your elbow are in line. So this pulls on my knee, so I'm just going to drop my knee back down to touch my other knee with a little bend. And this is going to take any pain you might be feeling out of your knees. We're going to take 3 more breaths here in this position. One more breath. On the next inhale, slowly unwind from this position. Coming back onto your hands and your knees. Take an inhale and then exhale, roll over your toes, push your hips back to the wall behind you, downward facing dog. So go ahead and lengthen your down dog, step about an inch back, making sure your toes are spread wide, your fingers are spread wide, your ears are in line with your shoulders or your arms, that you're pushing back, we're pushing your hips to the back of the wall, pushing your heart towards your thighs, pushing your thighs back. Take an inhale, exhale, inhale your right leg straight up into the air. Exhale, step it through between your hands, drop the left knee to the ground, relax the left foot to the ground, and walk your right foot out to the edge of your mat. You can stay right here, coming up into your hands, finding strength in your hands, lengthening the top of your head to the wall out in front of you, lengthening your chest out to the wall out in front of you. And if this is enough sensation, stay right here. If you're wanting more, you can come down onto your forearms. And if you're still wanting more, you can come onto the pinky edge of your right foot, letting that right knee flail out, just wing out like you have wings, like a dragon wing. And let's take a couple breaths here. Breathing that sensation into the glute, into the hips. Let's actually take 2 more breaths. One more. On your inhale, if you're on your forearms, come back onto your hands, dropping the pad of the foot to the ground, slowly walking your foot back in through to center, coming up onto the left foot toes, step the right foot back, plank pose, take an inhale, exhale, push back, downward facing dog, inhale, left leg straight up into the air, exhale, step it through between your hands, drop the right knee, relax the right toes onto the ground. Inhale, Lengthen the spine, lengthen your forehead up to the front of the room, lengthen your chest, open up through your chest, and walk your left foot out to the outside edge of your mat. Staying here if you want to, but if you need more sensation, dropping down onto your forearms. And if you still want more, coming on to the pinky edge of the left foot, letting the left knee open up like a wing. 3 breaths. One more, make it count. On the next inhale, if you're on your forearms, push yourself back up onto your hands. Drop the left foot back down to the ground. Walk it back in. Come on to push off your right toes. Step the left foot back, plank pose. Take an inhale. Exhale, relax the knees to the ground and come sitting down onto your heels. Now, if you can't sit on your heels comfortably, you can either place a pillow, a blanket, or a block in between your butt and your heels so that this is taking any pressure off your knees or off your thighs. And if that's still uncomfortable, go ahead and just come into a seated pose, just like this, a comfortable seated position. Whatever works for you, make sure it's comfortable. I also recommend placing a blanket or a block if you're sitting like this so that your pelvis is tilting forward a little bit. This is gonna help your posture improve. So once you're sitting and whatever works for you, let's find length in the spine by making sure we're not overarching or over rounding, but instead finding length in the lower back, opening up here, opening up the chest, letting the shoulders drop back, lengthening up through the neck, tilting the chin back, but also up ever so slightly, letting those collarbones smile to the world. And once you find the length in your spine, take your hands and clasp them back behind your back. And really clasp them. Don't have them opening up like this and like being like this. Actually clasp them back behind your back, checking in that you're not arching to clasp them, but instead still long in the spine. And begin to raise your arms up as high as you can without overarching or over rounding the spine. So just opening up your arms as high as you can. So this is as high as I can go comfortably. And you might be here, you might be here, you might be higher than me, wherever you're at. 3 breaths, let's go. One more breath. On the exhale, release the position. So just one more pose before we move into our final resting pose. If you're on your knees, grab onto your thighs, and if you are sitting in a crisscross applesauce, grab onto your ankles. And now we're just going to do some simple spinal flexes. So inhale your heart to the front, and then exhale, round your back. Inhale, heart to the front, arching. Exhale, rounding your heart out through the back. This is just like our cat-cow, but instead we're sitting. Spinal flexes, just moving that energy up through the spine. We've moved into some sticky places today. We just want to get the energy moving, getting these emotions moving through our body. Deep breaths. Moving at whatever pace you want. Three more breaths here. One more time. Inhale back through to neutral, and then come lying all the way down onto your back, opening up your arms, opening up the legs, closing the eyes down for your final resting pose. Letting your body melt into the ground. Letting gravity take over. Noticing how your body feels. Letting your breath be natural. And giving in to the moment of right now. Please stay here as long as you would like, but for at least 10 more breaths, stay here and enjoy this moment. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I'm so happy that you were here. Thank you for showing up for me, showing up for yourself, and showing up for the collective. I appreciate your presence, and I hope this video has been helpful for you in any kind of way. Please do know that you can hold these poses for as long as you want, and these aren't the only poses available to you to release stored emotions. These are just some of them and some of my favorites. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.